YouTube, what the crap's going on? HeirofCarthage here, back in Total War, Warhammer, where we're going to be looking at the Regiments of Renown and the new units for the vampires. We talked a little bit about Helman Gorst, who's here, and we've also mentioned Vlad von Karstein, who is here, but you'll notice that there's one other lord now available to you, and that is the Strigoi Ghoul King. And this guy's pretty cool, to be honest. He's got some nice features that he comes with. So if we scroll through some of these, he's got the Curse of Undeath, as expected, regeneration, and then when we come through, you know, here's all of his lore of, really, Spirit Leech. Now that's interesting. So he has Spirit Leech, which is a Lore of Death spell. Invocation to Heck as a Lore of Vampire spell. Doom and Darkness, interesting. It's almost like he's kind of a mix of vampires. Let's pick him and take a look at his spells here. Yeah, I mean, that one is definitely a Lore of Death spell. I want to say Doom and Darkness is, too. So is Soul Blight. But Gaze of Nagesh is vampires. And Command of the Unliving is a unique spell for the Strigoi Ghoul King that spawns a unit of Crypt Ghouls. And if you overcast it, it's a unit of Crypt Horrors. So the Ghoul King adds an interesting facet for the, basically for the vampires. And it's pretty neat. He has poison attacks. Let's see, Bloodlust. Let's look at some of the abilities over here to make sure we get this right. Replenishes hit points, increase power reserves. Wow, extra armor piercing damage. He has no special items over here. As far as a mount, he can mount on a Terror Geist, which is really cool. Has anti-large attacks and stuff like that. That's really neat to see. So it should be an interesting add to the campaign and in multiplayer. So yeah, pretty cool stuff with the Strigoi Ghoul King, so an interesting add. Let's take a look at the Regiments of Renown for the vampires. So I'm going to select them all up. We've got the Tithe Zombies, which is basically a bigger, stronger zombie unit. You've got the Konig Stein Stalkers, which is a skeleton warrior with poison attacks, and a little bit stronger, obviously. And, oh, let's compare these. So we'll go through each unit and we'll compare them, because we have this nice little tool that helps us compare things now. So you can see that the, actually let's select the zombies and then we'll mouse over the Tithe Zombies. So Tithe Zombies have considerably more hit points, more leadership, 2 more speed, 5 more melee attack, 6 more defense, and 6 more charge bonus. So that's the difference between the Tithe Zombie and a standard zombie. Let's take a look at the skeletons. So it's the same hit points for the Konigstein Stalkers, but they have 40 more armor, which is a lot. 9 more leadership, which is always nice for vampire units because their leadership's pretty low to begin with. And you've got extra melee attack, and it's a poison attack, and then melee defense. So these guys are going to be a considerable force to be reckoned with. And just making sure there's nothing down here I'm missing. Nope. So that's the Stalkers. Now we've got these Crypt Ghouls, the special ones. So how do they differ from a standard Crypt Ghoul? I don't know how I got these guys backed up, but whatever. So they have 180 more health, 5 more leadership, 4 more speed, 10 more attack, 5 more defense, and 3 more charge. And then if we look at the abilities, they have the stalk ability. So this means that they can walk on the battlefield without being seen until they get very close. So and they can Vanguard deploy. So they're gonna be like a sneaky unit of Crypt Ghouls. The Graveguard down here. So the Sternsman Graveguard. They have anti-infantry, armored and shielded, so they should be comparable to this Graveguard. Yeah, so same health, but 10 more leadership, again, will be handy for the Graveguard. More melee attack, more melee defense. And if we take a look at the abilities, they can regenerate, and they have charge defense against all. So they're going to be protected from cavalry charges a lot more, and against infantry charges. Graveguard, that's one of the places where they suffer, is they don't really have a charge. So that's going to be a really nice way to make these guys very potent. So interesting addition there for them. We've got these Varix Reavers, which is Black Knights with lances and barding. So let's compare them to said Black Knights. So extra leadership, more melee attack, more melee defense, and they regenerate. And they have a shield, so they'll be more resistant to missiles. So interesting. They're still an anti-infantry unit, not an anti-large unit. If we move on to the next one, we've got a special Hex Wraith unit. And if we take a look at the differences, I'll have to check their they do get an extra ability down in the bottom. It's just not listed in their... Yeah, it's not listed up here for them. Let's take a look. So they get 2 more leadership, 9 more attack, and 9 melee defense. And let's take a look down here at the bottom what it's adding. It looks like I'm seeing 2 things added, and it's this thing right here, the magic resistance. So plus 25% magic resistance, which is going to make them a little less vulnerable to magic attacks. And they're also adding the chilling aura, which takes speed away pretty considerably within a 45-meter radius, so it's going to make it harder for stuff to get away from them. So interesting Hex Wraith unit. If we move on to these dire wolves, we can see here that you're getting 9 more leadership, 10 more melee attack, 8 more melee defense, and they are anti-large. That is a very interesting addition for the dire wolves. And I want to say these guys had extra mass too, if I read it right. So it'll make them a little more useful against other cavalry. We've got Var Geist and then this the Devils of Schwarzhofen. Let's check this out. Causes terror. Woo! And their Vanguard deploy. Holy crap. So very, very expensive though. So I don't know if these guys are going to pay off, but they get 10 more leadership, 11 more attack, 10 more defense, Vanguard deploy, Var Geist with something that causes terror. So these guys will be pretty brutal in a rear charge. They might be able to rout big chunks of units, so could potentially pay off. It's interesting. And then the last one down here is we have a Mortis engine, and then we have the Claw of Nagesh Mortis engine. So if we take a look at the difference, there's no difference to melee attack or anything else. It's going to be an additional ability. So let's see. It looks like they add the chilling aura and the magic resistance is what they're going to add to it. Yeah, I think just the chilling aura and the magic resistance. If I'm missing anything, let me know, but that's what it looks like. So that's the different regiments of renown for the vampires. Let's take a look at all of them on the battlefield just to get a feel for what they look like. Hex Wraiths, dire wolves, Var Geist, and I will see you on the battlefield. All right, I'm back on the Void of Hellfin to show you some of these new units. So let's look through them. This one here is the Claw of Nagesh Mortis engine, and this one's the standard Mortis engine, so you can kind of see what these units look like up close. They are very sweet looking units. Lots of little interesting detail on these things if you get up close. You can see all the skeletons, the ethereal units around it kind of floating in the air. Very menacing looking unit. Remember, these damage, they have like a constant damage effect on units that are close enough, and they regenerate friendly units with some other bonuses. These are the different corpse carts that are available. Corpse cart doesn't damage other units, but it can help regenerate, and it helps from an aura standpoint in terms of magic and everything too. So this one is the corpse cart with the Unholy Lodestone. And I didn't cover these, but we'll check out some of these from back there. So the Unholy Lodestone replenishes the hit points of combatants. You can see that it's right there. And then we've got the Corpse Cart with Balefire, and the Balefire should be right there. So Balefire is a constant ability around self that reduces the power recharge rate and increases proportional to the number of enemy units in range. So interesting. So the more units that it's around, it increases the recharge rate even more. So we got the standard corpse cart here, and if you look at it, it's got this Vigor Mortis effect, which helps the enemies around it fighting, and this Balefire as well. No, that's the Balefire one. This is the standard corpse cart. Sorry, I hadn't clicked on it. So yeah, it doesn't have the Balefire. So up here is the special unit of Var Geist, the Devils of Schwarzhofen. So these are the ones that can Vanguard deploy and do all the nasty stuff. So pretty cool. Down here is the Dire Wolves that have the bonus versus large. These are some pretty nasty looking units there. Pretty sweet. And here's the new Hex Wraith unit. Check out that like purplish color that they have to them. Very, very sweet looking unit. So yeah, they have that chilling aura about them. And then over here we've got the souped up knights with lances and barding. So this is Varric's Reavers. Also very, very cool looking unit. Let's get up close on them. So yeah, vampires got some sweet units out of this. Anyway, that's what they look like. Let's go over here and check out the Sternsman. This is the special Graveguard unit. Also looking extremely sweet. The shields and everything there. So again, love these vampire units. They look awesome. Here's the special Crypt Ghoul unit. So also looking pretty cool. I don't really know how that compares to a standard ghoul. But yeah, that's what they look like. We got the Stalkers here, which is the skeleton warriors with the poison attacks. So let me get you a close-up on these guys here. Some pretty cool shields on some of these guys also. Very sweet-looking units. This really makes me want to see the Tomb Kings. And here's the Tithe Zombies. They're just a little bit bigger. Some of them are bigger than standard zombies. And then I did bring this too. This is the Strigoi Ghoul King up on his Terror Geist. This guy looks extraordinarily menacing, and then the Terror Geist looks nasty in and of itself. So look at this, man. If this isn't enough to make an enemy army crap its pants in and of itself, then, I mean, you just gotta love this with the vampires. Like, the role-playing element of playing and feeling like you're the nasties scaring all of humanity, and yeah, it's really cool. So these are all the new units for the vampires. They are pretty sweet. So I will leave it at this for tonight. Let's get one last cool zoom in here. Let's see. Probably my favorite looking unit out of the bunch. I'm thinking these Hex Wraiths look insane. So that's probably one of my favorite ones. But hope you all enjoyed this. I'll be back with more gameplay, obviously. The reason I haven't shown you any multiplayer battles yet is because not everybody has the build yet. But as soon as I do, we'll get into multiplayer. We'll test some of this stuff out. Hope you enjoyed it. HeirofCarthage signing out for now.